In the last few videos that I've been sharing, I've spoken a lot about Neville Goddard's book, The Power of Awareness. And from studying it, I found it very, very impactful. And today I'd love to share 2 pages with you. They're very short, but it's on subjective control, which is chapter 12 in his book. And it states that your imagination is able to do all that you ask in proportion to the degree of your attention. All progress, all fulfillment of desire depend upon the control and concentration of your attention. Attention may be attracted from without or directed from within. Attention is attracted from without when you are consciously occupied with the external impressions of the immediate present. The very lines of this page are attracting your attention from without. Your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you will be preoccupied with mentally. It is obvious that in the objective world, your attention is not only attracted by, but is constantly directed by the external impressions. But your control in the subjective state is almost non existent. For in this state, attention is usually the servant and not the master, the passenger and not the navigator of your world. There is an enormous difference between attention directed objectively and attention directed subjectively. And the capacity to change your future depends on the latter. When you are able to control the movements of your attention in the subjective world, you can modify or alter your life as you please. But this control cannot be achieved if you allow your attention to be attracted constantly from without. Each day, set yourself the task of deliberately withdrawing your attention from the objective world and focusing subjectively. In other words, concentrate on those thoughts or moods which you deliberately determine. Then those things that now restrict you will fade and drop away. The day you achieve control of the movement of your attention in the subjective world, you are the master of your fate. You will no longer accept the dominance of the outside conditions or circumstances. You will not accept life on the basis of the world without, and having achieved control of the movements of your attention and having discovered the mystery hid from the ages, that Christ is in your imagination, you will assert the supremacy of imagination and put all things in subjection to it. So that is the 2 pages. And I suppose when we start to look at those 2 pages, if I just break it down slowly, we look at the first paragraph, and it states that your imagination is able to do all that you ask in proportion to the degree of your attention. So what are you focusing on today, or what's your attention been focused on? Are we focusing on what we should be focusing on? If you have a particular goal, are you 100% committed to that? And are you focused on that? Is your full attention being driven towards that goal? Because that's what will drive you. That's what will motivate you to take the action steps that you require to bring you closer to your goal. He also states here that attention is attracted from without when you are consciously occupied with the external impressions of the immediate present. Your attention is directed from within when you deliberately choose what you're preoccupied with. So what are you preoccupied with today? Are we allowing the distractions, maybe of family, maybe of friends, maybe of social media? There might be so many other distractions in our lives, but are we letting those distractions take us away from where we truly want to be? And again, as I said in the last few seconds, what are we totally focused on? What are our intentions focused on? And what are we deliberately thinking about each and every minute of the day? And I said this line in so many other videos, but like what we're thinking of today brings the results that we see in our lives tomorrow, or next week, or next month, or next year, whatever it may be. So we need to be incredibly careful to understand that everything is in our thinking, and what we're thinking of will bring the results that we want. So we want to be thinking of the positive. We want to be thinking of what goal do we truly want to achieve in our life, how we're going to achieve it, and to focus 100% on that. And Neville also states here that there is an enormous difference between attention directed objectively and attention directed subjectively, and the capacity to change your future depends on the latter. Excuse me. So again, we want to find out what's really going on in our subjective mind, what's going on in our subconscious mind. Remember, the conscious mind is the ability to be able to accept or reject anything. The subjective mind, that's the emotional mind or the subconscious mind, only has that ability to accept. So whatever you're thinking about, it will accept it all day long. So if it's negative thoughts, if it's negative people in your life, you need to go and push them away. Reject those thoughts that aren't bringing you towards your goal. When you're able to control movements of your attention in the subjective world, then you can modify and alter your life as you please. And again, what Neville is stating there again is that focused attention on the thoughts will bring us to where we want to go to. Each day, excuse me, each day set yourself the task of deliberately withdrawing your attention from the objective world and focusing it on the subjectively. So again, I'd strongly recommend that to take yourself away from the attention of the world, it's worth looking at your goal card. It's worth setting a timer maybe every 2 to 3 hours. Look at your goal card, focus on it. Get emotionally attached to it. Close your eyes, and when you feel that emotion, do that for 2 or 3 minutes every 2 to 3 hours a day. Then you're focusing your attention on the direction that you want to go to. You're pulling away from the distractions of the world today. He also states that the day you achieve control of your movements, of your attention in the subjective world, you're the master of your fate. So again, he's stating again, it's about the subjective world. How are we thinking? How are we acting? If we're thinking in the way that we need to be thinking, if we're focused in the way that we need to be focusing, we will then continue to bring about the actions that we truly need to do to bring us to the goal that we need to get to. This 2 pages of Neville's book, Subjective Control, is a really powerful one. And I know I'm just kind of summarizing it up, in 6 or 7 minutes. But I strongly say, if you do get a chance to get this book, it's The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. And it's strongly recommended. I heard Bob Proctor stating this before, that, study this with chapter 3. And there's a great poem called Invictus. Also study that with it. Because what you're doing today, you're doing mental work. That's what you're doing. You're doing mental work. And when we talk about the subjective world as well, that's the subjective world is the goal that you have in your goal card. And you want to be able to come from the wish fulfilled, assume the goal that you want has already happened in your life, emotionalize with it, and take the actions. I hope this has been some help to somebody today. If you like what I've been speaking about, please like, share, subscribe to the page. I really do appreciate it. And we'll catch up again soon. Thank you so much.